All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike, and today we're going to be breaking down Bellator 294. So we have two Bellator events this weekend, one after the other, one on Friday, the other on Saturday with the UFC card. I really prefer the other card, 295. I'm going to be working on that. I hope to get a video out. Probably it's going to be tomorrow, and I'll do it as early as I can. But until then, we've got this card. It's only 9 fights, unfortunately, but means it won't be a long video. I've already got a bunch of bets, honestly. I thought this was going to be a really light card for me, but I actually found a bunch of spots that I like. So we've got some action. We've got some things to talk about, and we can hop right in. I'm going to add the, going to share the screen with Tapology so we can get this going. All right. Should be all set. Let me just adjust. Okay, cool. So hopping right into it, we've got Anthony Adams versus Sharaf Mordov. Adams 9-3-0. He's 35 years old, 6'1" at the 76-inch reach. I do have him up at Denver, but he's not at elevation as far as I can tell. He's at pound for pound Muay Thai, a gym that I know a lot of people kind of do cross training with elevation. On the other side, Davlet Muradov, 18-4-1. He's going to be 4 years younger, 2 inches shorter, and he's giving up 2.5 inches in reach. I like Davlet Muradov here. I think that he's really well-rounded. He had a really good fight with Tokov, who's really good, and just challenged the title with Eblin. He did lose, though. But Tokov is tough, and Davlet Muradov looked really good. I think that was his UFC debut or his Bellator debut or his second Bellator fight. I'm not positive, but he looked great. He can do everything. He can wrestle. He can strike. Adams on the other side, 9-3-0. I already introduced him, but he's very he's well-rounded, but at a lower level. I don't want to say mid, but he's kind of mid. He does have that one win. He was a huge underdog against Khalid Mirzaliyev, but Khalid just didn't really do much. Adams is a decent striker. He's got good takedown defense, but he can be taken down. And he doesn't do much on the feet, and he's pretty hittable. So I do think that Davlet Muradov on the feet will be successful. He'll be the better striker. I think that on the ground, he's got the edge. I do think he'll get takedowns. I do think he'll get control time. So what I ended up doing was I just parlayed him because it's kind of tough to pay that price tag without seeing more of him in Bellator. So I parlayed him with, we'll be talking about it later, but the parlay's plus 116 for a half unit. And that's all I'm going to do on this fight. I wanted to put more on him. Maybe I'll parlay him with someone from the upcoming Bellator card, the 295 one, but we'll have to see. For now, Davlet Muradov is a pick, and the bet is the parlay that I have with him and Sarah McMahon. We'll talk about it later on. So moving up on the card, we've got Chris Lencioni versus Blake Smith. Lencioni 10-3-0, 28 years old. He's 5'10" with a 71-inch reach. He trains out of his own gym, Sunshine Athletics. As far as I can tell, it's his gym. Blake Smith, 7-3-0. He's going to be 4 years older at 32. Don't have his measurables, but I'm pretty sure he's 5'9", if I remember correctly. So 1 inch shorter. Don't have his reach, though, for sure. And I do know he's at Sanford MMA now. I don't know how long he's been there, but it's good because he's a great fighter. But the problem with Blake Smith is his takedown defense. Pretty much every fight. Kenley St. Louis, who's been looking great, went to PFL, won twice on the Challenger Series. He's been looking good. He got completely out-grappled in that fight. In the Paris Artis fight, Artis found a lot of success on the ground. In Paris, he's pretty good, but it wasn't a great look. Smith ended up also having a lot of success on the ground and out-grappled him. Zokarian Kamchibekov out-grappled Smith till Smith got that choke. Carlos Alexander even out-grappled him, but this is 3 years ago. I don't think he was at Sanford yet. I like his striking better than Lencioni's. Lencioni, hands down, not a lot of output. I don't love what he does with his hands, and I really don't love the kicks, so not a fan of his striking. And I only think the line is close because he's shown some wrestling in the past. In the Don Shainis fight, he got some takedowns, but so did Shainis. In the Draco Rodriguez fight, he did get takedowns, and that's how he won the fight. But on the feet, Draco was hurting him a lot. And Blake Smith, I think, is a very solid striker. He knows what he's doing. He's going to stay much safer. He's much cleaner. And I think on the feet, he'll be hurting Lencioni. Lencioni can wrestle, yes, but I don't know that it's going to work on Blake Smith too much. I'm sure he'll get a takedown or two, but I think Smith will be able to get back up. He might be able to use his own wrestling because Lencioni doesn't have amazing takedown defense. Lencioni is really active off his back, always looking for submissions. I think he's got like 5 sub wins, something like that. But overall, I think Blake Smith can win this as long as he's not getting completely out grappled, which I don't really see happening. I think he's going to win this fight. I did play him as the underdog. I know some people got Lencioni as the dog. I can't blame anyone who just wants to bet the underdog here, regardless of the side, because it should be close. But I like Blake Smith here. I think he's better in the striking, and I think he'll be able to handle any grappling that comes his way. So give me Blake Smith. I played him at plus 100 for a half unit to win another half unit, and that's all I'm doing. All right, next up, we've got Tyrell Fortune versus Sergey Bolestiny. Fortune, he's 12-3-0, 32 years old, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach. And for him, let me double check if I've got his camp. I have Arizona Combat Sports for him now. And Sergey on the other side, he's 10-2-0. He's going to be 27 years old, so he's 4 years younger. No, he's 5 years younger. He's going to be 1 inch shorter. Don't have his reach. After watching the face-offs, though, the ceremonial weigh-ins, I actually don't think he's shorter. I think he might be slightly taller. That said, I don't think it matters. I'm on Tyrell Fortune here, which is unlike me. I don't like betting him. I never thought he was amazing, but he's got really good wrestling, and his striking is good too. Sergey, big power striker. His striking, his technique is all right. But after round 1, he just completely falls off. And like out of his 12 fights, 8 of them have ended in round 1. Out of his 10 wins, 6 of them came in round 1. And after, like, you watch his last fight where he got extended and he won. It was split, but like he was getting out grappled by a guy who was not very good, and it was not a good look for him at all. And his cardio, I think, was a big reason for it. Fortune, like, he's got enough cardio in the tank where he can wrestle. He'll keep wrestling, and I think he's going to have a lot of success on the ground. He did put up a picture. It's like it's a while back now. I think it was like 28 weeks old, but him at the IBJJFs or whatever it's called. He won gold in the no-gis, so that was cool to see. And I was actually watching their fights, both of them, and like Bolestiny, the 2 losses he has, they're by submission. And Tyrell, I think he only has like 1 sub. Yeah, he's only got 1 sub, but you watch him on guys, like he'll get the back and like he's not necessarily going for chokes too much, but I think that it might be a path here for him. So I actually did sprinkle his submission prop. I got it at plus 550. I played it for a quarter unit, and then I played his money line minus 130 for a unit because I think that his striking is good enough to hang on the feet. I don't think he's going to get knocked out, and I think he's going to be able to out-grapple Sergey here. So give me Tyrell Fortune, and we're going to move on to our next fight here. All right. Up next, we've got Achilles Moda versus Kenneth Cross. Moda, he's 14-3-0, 32 years old, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. Tixera MMA and fitness for him. Kenneth Cross, 13-3-0. He's going to be 4 years younger at 28, 1 inch taller, 1 inch reach advantage. And for him, I don't have a camp, so we're going with Michigan top team, like Tapology says. So for this one, I was really tempted on Cross. I'm a fan of his for some reason ever since he was on the Contender Series. I like his style, but I think that Moda is just more well-rounded. He's fought at a higher level. I think he's definitely going to have a big grappling edge here. Kenneth Cross also, all 3 losses by submission. Moda, I think he has like 4 submission wins going off the top of my head. Yeah, he's got 4. So I actually think that that's a path for him as well because he does have wrestling. I do think his wrestling will work here. I think he's going to get takedowns. I think he'll get control time. He works off the back a lot. So I actually do think he's very live to submit Kenneth Cross, and the sub prop is plus 950, which I think is very wide. I think that it could have been closer. So I played that for 0.125 units, and that's to win back like just over 1 unit. I think that Moda, like I said, just riding on the back, I think he's going to have a lot of control time. I think he's going to have a lot of time to find that submission. And in the striking, I think he's also good. Kenneth Cross, great striking, big power. Maybe he can bonk Moda, but overall, I think Achilles Moda should win this fight, probably via his grappling. I don't know if he submits him, gets the decision, but I did play his money line as well. I got him at, let me tell you, minus 154 for 1 unit, and that's all I'm doing in this fight. Just that, and the sub prop and Achilles Moda is the pick. All right, up next, we've got Cho Kelly versus Michael Lombardo. Cho Kelly, 11-2-0, 26 years old. He's 6 feet tall with a 73-inch reach. For his camp, let me double check what I've got. Don't have anything. We're going with Kaizen MMA. Lombardo, 13-3-0. He's going to be 7 years older. Same height, 1-inch reach disadvantage. Training out of American Top Team. I thought for sure I would end up using Levon as a parlay piece just before I did any tape, just off of my memory. And then I watched it, and I really decided that Lombardo's a very live dog here. Both guys, they've kind of got similar styles. Cho Kelly, his striking is very wild. He does have good power, 9 knockout wins, but he can get very wild and leave himself open to get countered. His wrestling is good. His takedown defense is good, but Crutchmer took him down. Crutchmer also took Lombardo down. Lombardo had a better time defending than Cho Kelly did. But other than that, he's had good takedown defense to Cho Kelly. And Lombardo on the other side, I think his striking is actually pretty good too. He can be a little bit hittable. Lemminger was kind of teeing off on him in the beginning of that fight. But I think that he is going to be able to find success at range. I think he's a little bit cleaner than Levon is in the striking. And he can wrestle too. So I think we're going to see a bunch of grappling here. He's also got a good takedown defense. And on the feet, I think it's going to be wild, powerful strikes from Cho Kelly and much cleaner, more down the pipe strikes from Lombardo. So I actually ended up playing Lombardo at plus 170 for a half unit. I think it's a good spot in a really close fight. I think that it's almost 50-50. So give me Lombardo as a big underdog, plus 170 for for a half unit. I think he's going to win by decision, and he's going to be the pick here to outwork Cho Kelly. All right, this next fight, we've got Danny Sabatello versus Marcus Breno. Sabatello coming right out of that title fight with Rafuan Stotts, really close fight. Some felt that Sabatello won, not me. He's 13-2-0, 30 years old, 5'10", with let's call it a 70-inch reach, training out of American Top Team. Breno on the other side, he's 15-2-0, 25 years old. He's 5 years younger. It says 5'5", but I think that's incorrect based off of seeing him with other opponents. I think it's and him facing off with Sabatello. I think it's like a 2-inch height difference, something like that. Don't have his reach. He's training out of Texera MMA and Fitness. Look, at first, when I first saw the line, saw the matchup, but didn't tape anything yet, I was like, I'm probably going to be all over Sabatello because the guy just, regardless who he's fighting, I mean, that grappling is just relentless. He's a really, really good wrestler with really good top control. Doesn't do the most damage, and he's not the best finisher, but he's a really, really good wrestler. On the feet, he's serviceable, and it's improving, but I don't really like his striking very much. Now, Breno on the other side, man, I was pleasantly surprised. The dude has hands. I kind of remember that Josh Hill fight. I'm pretty sure he was the underdog. Looked fantastic. The dude can strike. He's so slick. He's really fast hands. He's a great counter striker. And his grappling is really good too. I mean, even in the Taylor Lapilus fight, I thought he did pretty well against a guy like Taylor Lapilus. And I haven't seen him get taken down. Not on any of his tape. I haven't seen him get taken down. So I don't know how it's going to be with Sabatello. What I do know is on the feet, I think it's Breno for sure. So I decided to just stay off of it. I think Sabatello is still the side. I think that relentless pressure and wrestling is going to win him the fight, probably by decision. But Breno's no joke. And on the feet, he's very live to catch Sabatello. So give me Sabatello as the pick. I'm not touching this fight. I can't blame people taking the shot on Breno, but I just kind of think he's going to get grinded out. So the pick is Sabatello, and we're going to move on. No play. This next fight, we've got Arlene Blencow versus Sarah McMahon. McMahon making her Bellator debut and coming up a weight class. Blencow, 15-9-0. She's 40 years old, 5'6" with a 65-inch reach. Jackson Wink for her. McMahon, 13-6-0. She's 2 years older at 42. Same height, 1-inch reach advantage. Revolution MMA for her. My first big thing is I saw the face-offs and they're definitely not the same height like Tapology says. Blencow is significantly bigger than her. And I'm not positive how this, coming up a weight class is going to work out for McMahon. That said, I think she's the way better fighter. I mean, Olympic wrestler. like not all people who've been very credentialed in wrestling have made that transition to MMA successfully, but she uses it very well. She uses it successfully, and her ground game is very legit. I mean, she dominated Carol Rosa, who's a really good fighter, a good prospect. So, and she's 42. So I think the wrestling will work here. Blencow has shown good takedown defense, only really recently getting out grappled by Cyborg. Can't really hit her for that one, but she doesn't do enough on the feet for me. I think on the feet, McMahon can win as well. I think it'll probably be close and sloppy, but I don't think McMahon's going to leave it there for much. The only reason I'm not going heavier on McMahon is because after I saw the face-offs during ceremonial weigh-ins, I was like, damn, the size difference is really big. So maybe it can get very hard for her to get those takedowns if Blencow is able to use that physicality. But I think it'll work out for McMahon. I think she's going to win this one. What I did with her was I played her decision prop plus 100 for a half unit to win back another half unit. And she's the second leg of that Davlat Mordov parlay plus 116 for a half unit. And we're going to move on. McMahon is indeed the pick. Next up, we've got Tim Johnson versus Saeed Salma. Johnson, 15-9-0. He's 38 years old, 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. For his camp, I think I have Extreme Couture. I'm not positive. Salma, 8-4-0, 31 years old. He's 7 years younger. 3 inches shorter, 2-inch reach disadvantage. American top team for him. Man, for me, Salma, like, he's so mid, I think. He doesn't really do anything very well. Very flat-footed and plodding. Low output. The striking is only okay. He doesn't have, like, this crazy grappling. Takedown defense is pretty good, but he can be taken down. And overall, I don't see how he can ever be a very big favorite, you know? I get it, Johnson's 38, and he's very hittable himself. But Salma, I don't think he's the biggest power striker in the world. And I actually think that Johnson's going to hit harder here. I like the output of Johnson better. I don't know if I like his technique as much, but I think he's very live in this fight. I'm not going to lie. And Tim Johnson, to an extent, he can wrestle as well. Is he going to do it here? I don't really think so. Long story short, I'm not touching this fight from a betting perspective at all, but I am picking Tim Johnson to win this fight, actually, because I just don't think very highly of Salma, and I think that Johnson can outstrike him, maybe even knock him out. So give me Tim Johnson as the pick. No play whatsoever on this fight. All right. Moving on to our main event of the evening and the final fight of the card. We've got Liz Carmouche versus Deanna Bennett. Carmouche, 18-7-0, 39 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. For her camp, we're going to go with the Arena MMA. Bennett, 13-7-1. She's 1 year younger at 38, 2 inches shorter, same reach. Killer Bee Combat Sports for her. Look, we already saw this fight happen, and since then, I'm pretty sure, she fought Alejandro Lara and then beat Justine Quiche twice in a row for some reason. I don't know why they made that fight twice. But when these two fought, Liz Carmouche dominated for the majority of the fight, ended up getting a finish in the third round. She's been a finisher since then. I mean, Vanessa Porto, she didn't finish, but she knocked out Watanabe, who I think is really good. She finished Velasquez twice in a row, which is very impressive. And I think she's going to get that finish here once again. She's got 5 rounds to work with this time rather than 3. I think she's going to have that huge grappling edge. I think she's still got an edge on the feet as well. But grappling is going to be the clear path here, and I think she's going to take it. I got her inside the distance prop at plus 150 on DraftKings. I think that's the way to tackle this fight. I played it at a half unit. I just don't think you should be parlaying her at this kind of price. Like Deanna Bennett, I know she's gonna lose this fight, but you never know. Bellator judging sucks, and if Carmouche isn't wrestling all that much, it could be close on the feet. So look, I think it's going to be Carmouche all day. I just don't think you should parlay her. So give me Liz Carmouche as the pick. Give me Liz Carmouche ITD plus 150 for a half unit as the bet, and that's going to be it for this card. We went through this card in less than 20 minutes. That's pretty impressive, but it is only 9 fights and not a ton to talk about. Not the best fights, but pretty decent nonetheless, and we've got a decent slate set up for it. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to run back my UFC breakdown video that I put out on Tuesday. I went live with Johnny K Picks, and we broke down the entire UFC Vegas 71 card. And I'll be putting out the Bellator 295 video, like I mentioned, hopefully tomorrow. I'm going to do my very best. Not going to have an LFA video. Haven't even gotten there yet, but I'd like to at least look at it, maybe get some bets down and give them out on my Twitter like I always do. So thank you guys for tuning in once again. Thanks for watching, and good luck with all of your bets this weekend. Let's get it. Peace.